location. Bohus Fortress lies along the old Norwegian-Swedish border in Kungälv, Bohuslän, Sweden, northeast from Hisingen, where the Göta river splits into two branches about 20 kilometers, 12 miles, north of Gothenburg. It commands the surrounding area from a cliff 40 meters, 130 feet, high, with the river forming a natural moat around it. Initial construction. The construction of Bohus Fortress, Norwegian, Bohus Fästning, Swedish, Bohus Fästning, began in 1308 under King Haakon V Magnusson, King of Norway from 1299 to 1319. Haakon V also initiated construction of Norwegian fortresses at Akershus and Vardøhus as part of a broader defensive policy. At the time Båhuslen was Norwegian territory and served as the main Norwegian defense against Sweden, along the coast, as well as the strong point for the Båhuslen region from 1308 to 1658. Medieval castle. According to architect Guttorm Kavli, by the year 1310, records show it was constructed, as normal for that period, out of granite and brick, perhaps under the guidance of Count Jacob of Halland. By the year 1450, it included a continuous surrounding wall, 3 meters thick at the base, with a height which varied from 8.5 to 13.5 meters, varying with the terrain. It was approximately rectangular, with 4 rectangular corner towers. At the eastern end there was a brick tower, and in the center of the west side a gatehouse and drawbridge. Along the inside of the surrounding wall buildings were located, which among other things included the King's Hall, the castle commander's residence, the chapel, the guardroom, the barracks and the kitchen. The fortress had secure vaulted positions, partly cut into the mountain, and beyond that strong outer works. At the time Båhus was Norway's strongest fortress. The approaches were very difficult and the area to be defended was small, only 250 by 150 meters, so it did not require a large defensive force. Fortress. The fortress was attacked or besieged 14 times, but was never captured. During the Northern 7 Years' War, in 1563 to 1570, it was seriously damaged. This occurred in 1566, when 250 Swedish soldiers successfully stormed the northeasternmost tower. The Norwegian commander sent in a volunteer to blow up the ammunition stores underneath the tower, killing the Swedes and repelling the attack. As a reward, the family of the volunteer got a piece of land which is still owned by the descendants of this volunteer. The Norwegians rebuilt the fortress of stone and brick, and reinforced it substantially. The reconstruction immediately after the war was directed by Hans Posk from the Netherlands. On the 1st of January 1590, James VI of Scotland and his wife Anne of Denmark came to Båhus. They gave Henrik Gildens Tjern, captain of Båhus, a ring and a gold chain worth 3,000 Danish thalers. In 1593 to 1604, similar to the construction then undertaken at Akershus in Oslo, Båhus was upgraded to a bastion fortress. A new outer fortification was raised. This construction was one of the early works of Hans van Steenwinkel, also from the Netherlands, who later became noted for his Dutch Renaissance-style design in Denmark. As Swedish invasions continuously threatened Norwegian Båhuslen during this time period, the improvement of the fortifications went on for years. For example, starting in the summer of 1651 and until the autumn of 1652, the Dutch engineer Isaac van Geelkerk supervised the construction of 2 corner towers along the south facade and a new ring wall that was constructed around the Arsenal building. Loss to Sweden. Under the terms of the Treaty of Roskilde in 1658, Denmark-Norway ceded the Danish provinces of Scania, Blekinge and Halland. The latter was agreed to belong to Sweden for a period of 30 years after the Peace of Bromsebro, but was given to Sweden permanently in the Treaty of Roskilde, and the Norwegian provinces Trøndelag and Båhuslen, including the Bohus Fortress. After Denmark-Norway ceded the territory which included Bohus Fortress, Fredriksten Fortress was constructed in Fredrikshald on the newly established Norwegian-Swedish border. Since the Bohus Fortress no longer lay on the border, it was of small use to Sweden, which relied on the existing New Elvsborg at Gothenburg and the new Karlsten Fortress built at Marstrand. prison. Instead, the fortress was used as a prison. The most noted prisoner was the radical pietist Thomas Leopold, who spent 42 years of his life behind bars, 32 of those at Båhus, for his alleged heresies. His stone-clad cell still exists in the castle. Modern times. At the end of the 18th century it was decided that the now unused fortress should be demolished. Demolition crews worked at the fortress for 2 months. After that, the money allocated for the job had run out. Residents of the nearby town of Kungälv used the dressed stone from the fortress to build houses. However, much of the fortress is still intact, including the large northern tower, called Fars Hat, Father's Hat. As of 2015, the fortress is a museum open to visitors during summer.